Legislators and community leaders joined the New York Immigration Collusion, NYIC, in rallying against what they characterize as the devastating new federal directive that strips long-standing protection from immigrant New Yorkers who seek resources in sensitive locations such as schools, hospitals, and houses of worship. President and Chief Executive Officer of the NYIC, Morad Awade, said that Trump's administration's dangerous policy changes exposes millions of New Yorkers and affects places such as schools, hospitals, health clinics, places of worship, domestic violence shelters, and community gatherings to include funerals, weddings, and religious ceremonies. So people are scared to attend these things. He said that when parents fear sending their children to school, fear seeking emergency or medical care, or reporting crimes, the entire city suffers. He urges Congress to step up and pass the Protecting Sensitive Location Act. This bill prohibits immigration enforcement actions within 1,000 feet of sensitive locations. Sensitive locations includes healthcare facilities, schools and bus stops, places that provide assistance for people such as children, pregnant women, and abuse victims, places that provide disaster or emergency source, places that provide disaster or emergency services, places of worship, courthouses, lawyer offices, facilities used as polling places, certain labor union facilities, and public assistant offices. New York State Senator John Liu, representative of District 16 in Northeast Queens, said that Trump administration undermines the trust essential in schools, places of worship, hospitals, and other community spaces. He said that no child should fear that their parent could be taken away at a school drop-off, and that no family should have to choose between seeking medical care and avoiding deportation. Deputy Speaker of the New York Council, Diana Ayala, said that the new directive allowing ICE access to sensitive locations doesn't make our immigration communities safe. It forces them to live in the shadows. Dr. Steve Urbach, a New York Doctors Collusion physician, noted that doctors and other healthcare workers swore an oath to take care of the well-being of all patients and all New Yorkers, regardless of their country of origin and status. The public patient care areas of all ERs, hospitals, and clinics must remain free of ICE and any other immigration policing, so that all patients can be cared for securely, safely, and with the same privacy we all expect, he said. He calls on healthcare institutions to provide the clear messaging, guidance, and training needed to prevent disruptions in care for all patients. Reverend Dr. Claude Breyer, Executive Director of Interfaith Center of New York, said that Trump's rollback of sensitive site policy violates religious liberty by defining direct service as non-essential to religious practice and by creating a chilling effect for worship in certain faith communities. He calls on the courts and cities and state elected officials to stand up for basic rights and the rule of law. Laura Evangelista, an executive director of the International Network of Public Schools and leader of New York Affirms, said that students and families are scared, and despite orders and new policies, students still have the legal right to attend public school. In New York City, the lengthy instructions boil down to this, she said: stop non-local enforcement at the door and call the NYCP's assigned lawyer. New York State Assemblywoman Monique Chandler Waterman noted that New York City has always been highlighted as a melting pot called to serve all New Yorkers. But unfortunately, she said, the current overreach of enforcement policies witnessed in this nation and throughout the state over the past few days have had no consideration of the broader impact of those oppressive measures on our Black and Brown Caribbean communities. Brooklyn lawyers urged City Hall to rescind recent shared guidance on New York City's health hospital cooperation with federal immigration authorities and clarify that all New Yorkers should feel comfortable seeking care at public hospitals regardless of their immigration status. New York State Senator Zelno Myrie issued a statement accusing Mayor Eric Adams of colluding with the Trump administration or colluding with Trump. He said that growing up in this community, his parents often brought him to Kings County for his asthma treatment, even before they were citizens. Myrie's grandparents hailed from Jamaica, and he said that without this care, the care that he received at Kings County, he might not be alive today. Now, I must say this. I too have been bamboozled. This is a lesson that we almost learn from, because too many times we get lessons like this and it repeats itself because we don't take action to prevent it from happening again. At one point, everybody loved Trump. They thought that he was one of them, and he was probably one of them, up until the point his nature kicked in. Just like any other wild animal, when you take them out of the jungle and bring them into your house and you try to domesticate them, wildcat, snake, Komodo dragon, crocodiles, you might be lucky, you might get by, but there will come a time that the nature of that animal will kick in. It has happened throughout history, but we never learn. And the time when the nature of these animals kicks in is always at a time when we have become so comfortable. We have made ourselves so vulnerable. We have exposed our strength and all of our weakness. We have become hopeless. And when they strike, because we have no defense mechanism, we run into the arms of those whose nature have not kicked in as yet. We run into the arms of the family members of the one who's oppressing us. And then history repeats itself because somewhere down the generation, nature kicks in one of those other family members and they screw you over. And sometimes the ones who you think are good are simply strategizing. So nothing against them, not saying everyone is bad, but we notice that the best thing is for us to take control of our destiny, just like they have for theirs. None of them would ever put themselves in the hand of somebody else. Here you are, in their land. The land that was stolen, by the way, is not their land. Therefore, for this person to say that you cannot be here because you are illegal is a problem. And we gave them the room to say that. We make them feel that comfortable because we say, hey, you know what? Don't worry about history, when they continue to benefit from it. This person or these people are in no position to tell anyone that they are illegal and they should leave. And while they round you up like cows and cattle and ship you off, they own all the large hotels in the Caribbean. They are living in paradise. Their heavens is the Caribbean. They have their money in the Caribbean. They're living great in the Caribbean, in Africa, in South America, in Australia, all over the world. Everywhere you go in the Pacific Islands, they are living lavishly. But we are too blind to see the big picture. You don't realize that these are the same people. But we have to realize that the Caribbean islands are too small to have certain type of nationalistic mindset. It should be the United Caribbean, because we are the same people, same history, same culture, but we allow them to break us down into plantation and have us still relying on them for all things and everything. So there's nothing your nation can do. It is too small, and we are not united. We are not connected. Africa is divided. The Caribbean is divided. South America is divided. And of course, as I always say, I don't expect the unification of all our people, because we know some of them are too far gone. There's no saving them.